Let's use a freebie from Louise Heinzel with digital items to create something for our junk journal. Welcome, it's Barbara from Vienna, Austria. So this is episode 2 of our summer 5 digital item swap with Louise Heinzel and Rhonda Winstead. In the first episode, I got to play with Rhonda's freebie. So if you missed that and want to see what happened, you can find it in the playlist in the description box below this video. So the great thing about this kind of 5 item swap is that you can participate as well by clicking Louise's download link for her freebie also below this video. And if you would like to join our swap and are on social media, please use the hashtag 5digitalItemsSwap so we can see what you created as well, and you will find that hashtag in the description box for you again as well. Okay, Louise, what do you have for us? My first impression of this is steampunk, which I love. So let's see what Louise's instructions are. Create a tag with the items on this sheet. The fishes and numbers are one item. So the fishes are 1 and the numbers are 1. Imitate some rust. Real rust is not allowed. I love that part. I've never done that, so I'm very curious how that's going to turn out. Include your own handwriting with a pen or medium of your choice. Thank you very much, Louise. I hate my handwriting. Print the sheet as often as you want and use from your stash and tools what you like. Have fun. Well, that we will have for sure. So I have some ideas in my mind. Louise has already created this lovely tag shape, so why not use that? So I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to cut this out as well. I'm waiting with these because I'm trying to be smart, because maybe I want to back some of these with some cardstock so then I don't have to cut them out twice. And thinking about this, I'm actually going to print this out again and cut these out twice because we can do that. So it's print the sheet as often as you want, because I'm going to make a double tag. The next thing I want to do is to glue these onto some cardboard because I want my tags to be nice and sturdy. And I should probably mention that Louise and Rhonda are posting their videos at the same time as I'm posting mine here. Oh, look at that. One is bigger than the other. How is that possible? Okay, maybe I cut this too short. And I'm filming this now after the first episode is out, but I would not let myself watch the other 2 because I haven't done mine yet, because I really don't want to be influenced by what they've done with the digitals. So it was so hard for me not to watch them because of course I'm super curious to see. I just want to be sure to not take anyone else's idea. And then Louise posted, actually both of them, both Rhonda and Louise of course posted on Instagram, and I got a glimpse and I'm like, no, I don't want to see. I had a glimpse of Louise's finished project. I mean, the quick glimpse that I had, I can only say it looks like she built a whole room. So I don't know what she did. I'm dying to watch it. So I have to wait till I do the next video because there's 3 in total. The next one will come in 3 weeks after this one here is posted because of some logistical problems. Okay, hopefully these are the same size now. Yay! So the back sides currently are white, and I don't know how well anything is going to stick on this smooth surface that my cardboard has, but I want to try some of my bubble technique here. I have a whole video on this, so if you've missed that fun video, how you can very quickly make some fun background pages for your journal or your ephemera using this technique, please find that video linked below for you as well. Not sure this is going to work. Usually you can blow it away and the bubbles will stay, but this is such a smooth surface that it's better to maybe just pop them like this. Oh no, I think I smeared it now. This is okay here. I think I have to wait till these actually disappear on their own. tried my heat gun on it. Not the most brilliant idea. It's okay. I can always cover it up if I need to. But this is pretty cool up here. So I guess I need to be patient. What would have probably been a great idea is to add some transparent gesso on this first so that that grabs the bubbles better and it's not so slippery. So I waited a few minutes, let it air dry. Look how cool this looks now. Oh, I'm in love. And in theory, this shouldn't move if it gets wet, I think, because usually, at least on regular paper, coffee won't move. I'm not sure about this smooth surface. Oh, and I see some coffee got here, which is actually very nice. I like that. And here, and here. Yay. I will be connecting these two later on top, but I won't do that, I think, until they are decorated. So let's start decorating the first one. Next, I just cut out this little boy. And he has the perfect size for this tag. Thank you, Louise. You're making our lives very easy. And you see how happy he looks? So I thought, what could he be happy about? And my conclusion was that he is so happy because he just caught a huge fish, which is this funky guy right here. I really want this fish to stand out, so I'm going to glue him onto my cardstock. And then I'm going to fussy cut him. So he's cut out and ready to go. He's nice and sturdy. I love that. So we want this kid holding him. So he would hold him from the tail, I guess. I'm not a fisher, so I don't know. But yeah, I guess that looks right. But now, of course, the fish is so big that the proportions don't work unless he stands on something. The other option might have been to print this printable at half size. Then the fish would have been about this tall, which would have made it a lot easier. But somehow it's also really funny to have this fish basically more than half as tall as this kid is. Okay, so the boy needs to stand on something. Given that this is giving me such steampunk vibes, I think it makes sense to go with some gears. And I went through my stash and I found these. These are my biggest gears that I have. I am not linking these for you below. Please just search for gear dies on whatever platform you want to search, because I got these on a platform I do not want to promote. So this is the biggest one, as I mentioned. So he could be standing on that. And then I could also put this one there just to give it a little bit more substance. And I could even add a smaller one inside like this. So obviously these would be half and he could be standing on those. And because these would kind of look lonely here, I think I would like to use two more gears, smaller ones. One could, for example, go here, maybe also like a half gear, and an even smaller one up here so that I'm happy with my triangle. So this really pulls your attention. And the paper I'm going to use to cut these out is this one here from the digital. I think these should stand out nicely when we have them in this pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on my die cut machine. Actually, I could just cut it like this. And then we have one. Some other orange in here, and we'll also have the orange in here. What's really annoying with some of these gear dies is you can see here it has nothing to push it through. So I wanted these to be a little more dimensional as well, so I also used the same die cuts for my cardstock. And when it's paper, it's easier to just kind of push it out like this, but when it's cardstock, it's going to come apart like it did here. So here I kind of like totally messed this up because I was trying to get it out. Super annoying. So I have my 5 gears attached to the cardstock so they are more sturdy and more dimensional. But I want this fish to stand out even more. So I think the way to do that is to emboss him. But first I want to get rid of the white on the edges, and I'm going to use my rusty Hinge Distress Oxide. Now this could probably count as rust color, which is what we have in the instructions, but that just kind of seems too easy. So this is not my rust. I mean, it is rust. It is a rust color, but I'm going to do something different later on. So I'm just using this color because it fits to the steampunk theme and to the other colors that we have here. I have this clear embossing powder from Ideen mit Herz. It's a German company. And I have this very cool distress embossing pen from Tim Holtz Ranger. And I've actually never gone over a printable, so hopefully this is not going to smear now. It seems to be okay. Thank goodness. How do you see if you have managed to get all of it? I guess you can always redo it after the first coat. You could have a second coat. It looks like it's drying super quickly because it's very hot here. So let's just do this quickly. Okay, not so bad. Okay, there he is. Beautiful. I am super happy with this result. So now he can be the star of the tag. I know you can't really see the gloss now in the camera. So he's holding him. So he needs to be like that. Okay, let's put this down here so that he can stand on it. And then this one here actually now doesn't fit in here. It's too big. But we can put this one in here. I mean, not that we'd have to put any in there, but I do think that looks kind of nice to have something there. So like that, this will be cut off. And then we could add this large one here and the small one, or maybe even the tiniest one. We have one extra now. Either the tiny one as a whole or this one as a partial one. Yeah, I like the partial one better. Okay, and I want to add a little more light into the background because I want everything to pop out a little bit better, especially him, even though he's so dark. But I have the feeling the background is just a bit too dark. So I want to add some stenciling to that. I'm going to use my Texture Paste Opaque Crackle by Ranger. I don't really care about the crackling at the moment, but it's the only texture paste that I have ready to go. And I'm going to use this stencil. I'm obsessed with this stamp, which is why you see it in a lot of my videos lately. So again, it's from Studio Light. It's a grunge mask and the number is SLGR Mask 16. Do you want the numbers or do I just want this? That's a great question. Maybe the numbers. And I have some Distress Oxide sprays on here, so I am aware that some of the coloring might go through to the crackle paste, but I hope that will be okay. I kind of like that sometimes. So I want to concentrate here where he is standing, maybe a little bit behind the fish as well, but I don't want to go crazy with this. I'm not sure I've ever used the crackle paste through a stencil, so I don't know how that's going to turn out. But see, it's already taking some of the color from the stencil. I think that's cool. Okay, stop. Okay, let's let that dry. If you're not used to working with crackle paste or texture paste, please be sure when you use a stencil to always clean it right away or to just put it in water until you have time to clean it. I'm not worried about having sprays on it. I usually don't clean it, but with pastes, it will obviously change the stencil and ruin it potentially if you don't clean it right away. So this has dried and it looks amazing, but the thing is, it looks like it's flaking off, like it's lifting, and some pieces already have come off. So I want to be sure to keep the rest on here because that would be such a shame. I love the way it looks. So I'm going to add some transparent gesso on top. I'm in a little bit of a shock after this has dried now, how much this has changed the printable. If we compare this to the original, look at that. Wow, that's a shame on one hand, but on the other hand, it actually really helps us to make our focal points stand out. Look at that. Okay, we're not gluing these on yet, but we are, I think, ready to glue on these parts here, and you know, all the parts that go to the edges, because my next stage is going to be rust and I want to get that around the tag. So let's glue these parts on, then we can cut these parts off that are too big. Next, I want to attempt to make my own rust. So I chose the colors brown, and I think I want to change this brown. I want this brown to be more reddish. I have black and I have an orange. So I think I'm first going to add some orange to this raw umber, and hopefully that will turn more red. Yes, that seems to be working nicely. Yes, that's about the brown that I'm looking for. Perfect. So I want the brown, I want the black, and I want the orange. I'm going to try it with this stippling brush because I want a rough bristle. I'm going to start with the darkest color, which is the black. And I'm going to just go around irregularly. Then I will take the brown. I kind of want to blend it in some areas, but not in all areas. Like, I don't want the black to disappear completely, but I do want the two to blend somewhat. Which is also why I'm not cleaning the brush in between. I'm getting it everywhere, of course. And then I'm going to take some of the orange as well. And go over parts of it. And I'm going to actually do the same thing on this tag as well. So it's about an hour later and these have dried completely. And I think the rust is a bit dark. I don't know, I wanted it to be a bit more orange. So I am going to take my rusty hinge and see if I can lighten that up a little bit. I don't know if we will see that on here at all. It's not really giving me the result that I want. So I wonder if I should maybe add some more orange around it, or maybe also a lighter brown and an orange. Another idea might be to use my Bros Gilding Wax. I mean, that also looks like rust. No, I'm not ready to give up on the paint idea. Let's see if I can mix the two into something that looks more like rust, maybe. Let's add some of this on top randomly. Yeah, now it's starting to look like rust. So I quickly dried this. I'm still not 100% happy with this. It's too smooth. It's too even. So I'm going to use a small paintbrush and I'm going to go in with like a brown black mixture, and I don't know, just maybe do some dots. No, I don't like that either. It's just too smooth. No, that's not going to do it either. So I'm going to try my fine grained sand. This is from a shop we have called Depot. It's a chain. This is like sand for decoration. I'm gonna put some here because I wanted to have some grit. You know, when you go over rust, it has this tooth to it, which is what I'm missing. So let's add some more paint. I have a very grungy brush now. Let's do this again, and hopefully some of the sand will stay on the tag. So I'm much more happy with this. So you see, this actually has tooth, and this actually looks a lot like rust now. I am much more happy with this. In the meantime, I also backed this little boy up with some cardstock and I embossed him as well, because I decided I do want him shiny like the fish. So I think I'm ready to glue both of these down. And I'm going to do this with heavy gel medium. This is unfortunately glossy, which I didn't see when I bought it. It says it right there. But I don't think it matters if I'm just gluing something, as long as the glue doesn't come out. I think I'm going to have to lay something on top to make this really stick well. Okay, so I had this laying under a book for about 10 to 15 minutes. Now it's really beautifully flat and adhered well. And now we still need to add the handwriting. I was looking for fishing quotes and I came upon this one from Henry David Thoreau that I really like. It says, "Many men go fishing all of their lives without knowing that it is not fish they are after." I think it's really cute to add that to this boy's tag because he's got his whole life ahead of him. And I want to write this actually on his black suit in a white pen. I have two white pens and I think the one that I need to go for is this paint marker. It's an acrylic paint marker, 0.7 from the company Passimo. I don't know this company. I don't know where they are at home. And hopefully this will stick to the embossed surface. I'm going to write it like this. It's a lot of text for such a small space. So let's see how small I can write. I am super happy how well that worked. I just hope it won't smear. So I'm going to let this dry. And I really love how that looks. So the back part of the tag I want to do with a little less fuss because this is the main tag, I would say. I've already cut out the other images. I did not cut out all the spikes that he had because, Louise, seriously? What were you thinking? It was hard enough to cut these numbers out, to be honest. But these fish were too much for me. So my idea is that this boy looks so happy. You see his face? He looks so happy and proud that he caught this huge fish, right? It looks like it's like a once in a lifetime thing or his first big fish. But then you flip over to the next side and you're like, oh, wait a minute. And then we see that actually he's already caught 25 of these fish and 38 of these fish. I absolutely love how these numbers are popping out. I love the white border as well. These fish, of course, don't pop out as much. So I am thinking maybe I should back these with some black paper and then also leave a small border around them. I mean, even a white border actually would be good. So I could have just cut them out with the white border. I was not thinking, but I actually think the black border might be more interesting because of the black we have in the numbers. So I just glued these onto some black paper with my glue stick. This one, I don't need the whole fish, so I only stuck part of it down. And now I need to cut it out with a border. So this is what it looks like with the black border. And the problem is that the black is not as intense as this black, which is just gorgeous. So I'm not happy with that. So what I'm going to do is, since I have another print out anyway, I'm going to cut these two out, leaving a white border. Okay, so let's try these instead. I actually went ahead and cut around these spikes. Oh yeah, I think that's the way to go. Yep, they stand out a lot nicer now. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those right down. We're going to call this artistic freedom and not talk about this again, okay? And of course, I managed to get some glue on some of these numbers. There you can see the spots. I don't like that at all. On the 8, you can see it as well. So what I'm going to do is put transparent gesso over the whole tag, and hopefully we won't see those spots after that. Once it's dry, we can see all the spots are gone. Yay! So that's something for you to try if you have similar issues. You could probably also use a matte Mod Podge, although be careful, matte Mod Podge is not actually matte. It's just a little less glossy. Before I continue with the assemblage of this tag, I want to go through the instructions and see if I've missed anything. Create a tag with the items on the sheet. The fishes and numbers are one item, okay. Imitate some rust. Real rust is not allowed. Yes. Include your own handwriting. We've done that. Print the sheet as often as you want. Yeah, we've printed it twice. And use from your stash and tools what you like. Have fun. Okay, looks like we've got all that. So now we need to put these together. And one thing I should maybe pay attention to is I've kind of messed up the back sides now, obviously. Let's see if I can kind of cover that up by making the whole edge black with my Black Suit Distress ink. It's not going to be perfect. Nope, this is not working at all actually. So I think nothing I do is actually going to cover up these edges. And even if I add more black paint to the edges, it's not going to look nice. So even though I love this, I'm going to just cover it with more of my bubble paper. Again, please refer to the video linked below if you want to know how to make these. Or if you don't want to make these, you can also find a digital version linked below. So all I'm going to do is to glue these on and then cut them out. So I just glued these on my sheet and I haven't cut them out yet, obviously. But this gave me the idea, maybe instead of making a flip up tag, why don't we make a tag booklet? So I'm not going to cut in between here. I'm going to cut this out and then see if we can just make a booklet instead. Oh, I should have glued it the other way around. Because now, of course, when we fold it, the front one is the second page, actually. Unless we do it the Asian way and we say, this is the front. I mean, it's really up to us, right? If we stick it like this into a journal in a pocket, then this is our front and we can still open it and say this is the back. I really like the booklet idea. I'll go around the inside with my rusty hinge. If it's too orange, I might add some... Oh, that is very orange. Okay, I'm going to add on top either some espresso or some vintage photo. I did not mean espresso, I meant walnut stain. So I'm going to do that. Just to tone it down a bit, but we can still see the rusty hinge shining through lightly. So I'm super happy with this inside. And although it lays super flat, I love that. It closes really nicely. I think I want to add a closure as well here. I do have room on it actually from both sides. And I have this beautifully rust dyed fabric that I dyed myself. I was experimenting with some rust and some alum and vinegar, and then this came out. If you want to see some more of my rust dyeing experiments and eco dyeing experiments, you can find that video linked below as well. I do dye some fabric in that video too, but they do turn out a different color than this one. So every time you're going to get different results. This used to be a tablecloth, and I want a narrow strip. Oh, this is not tearing in this direction, no. Yeah, this is not working. Okay, I'm going to have to cut that. Oh, that's a shame. The torn edge is so much nicer. Okay, well, it is what it is. I think that's long enough. So I'm going to try to rough up this cut edge a bit by fraying it. And then I'm going to cut this in half and fold it over at the end. And then I think I'll just glue that down here. Or actually I'd like to attach these with these brads. But I don't know if I can punch through. Oh, let me get my crocodile. Yeah, the small hole should work. And I know that will definitely go through the fabric as well. Yeah, I just love the crocodile. If you don't have one, that's something worth saving for. That's one of the tools that you will have all your life, and you will appreciate it every time you use it. Oh, I didn't want to go through both. I mean, it doesn't matter, but that was not my intention. Okay, at least now I have the hole in the same place without having to mark it or anything. That's cool too. Okay, so we have that here, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So now I just have to punch through the fabric. Just look how cool this thing is. So they are both attached. I'm going to leave these showing because I think for a steampunk journal with metal elements, I think they work just fine. And now we can tie this together. I could either just leave it like that and maybe shorten them a bit. Or do we want a bow? I don't think I want a bow, but let's just see what it looks like. What do we think? Nope. No, I don't want the bow for a steampunk journal. So I will just shorten these. Let's fray the bottom edges. And there's my finished tag. Wow. I am very happy with it. I like how flat it is actually. I love the writing on him. I love Louise's fish. And I love the idea behind it. I love the quote. Louise, I hope you're happy with this. Don't forget to check out the other 2 videos. I finally get to watch Rhonda's video now. So have fun with this. Love you guys.